Jema, day 3 of Navratri. And today I learned about the goddess of righteous power. Righteous power. That's something that I have tapped into over the last few years, more and more. Not very skilled, not in a very skilled way, but to be able to express truth as I experience it, as I learn it, the wisdom practices, that kind of truth, and how it resonates within me. So specifically around the goddess, around being a female in this human form, identifying as a female, being a born female as well, all those things. So like obviously it's however you identify, but for me specifically, like we are who we are in this life, and so how to experience that fully and with meaning and with purpose. So when I saw righteous power, and it's, the depiction of Durga Ma on the tiger, on the lion, and there's a specific goddess correlated with each day. And the chakra, today's the third chakra. So Monday was the root chakra, Tuesday was the sacral chakra, and today is the solar plexus, the third chakra. So that makes sense, right, with righteous power. And that has been interesting, and I think can be a point of contemplation today as we lightly explore these 9 days within ourselves, our connection with Divine Mother, and how that reflects. But yeah, like, how does that feel to you when you think about righteous power? In the book Roar Like a Goddess, I think I was just saying something and then I lost my train of thought there, so I'm coming back around. But Roar Like a Goddess explores Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. And a lot of it is that. So righteous power as it relates to these wisdom practices, right? So it's a little bit subtle. There is strength. Like, I think that there's this assumption that we're supposed to be super soft all the time, right? Super soft and gentle and kind. And while those are very important qualities, sometimes strength and courage and a little bit of force are needed in order to really stand our ground when it comes to expressing ourselves truthfully. Because we have been living in a society where we haven't really been doing that, or been able to do that, or we're not really heard. And so we get really quiet easily. Or there's anger, right? And there's like this anger that's dispersed in a way that is not productive. So you can think about that. It's productive, righteous power, right? Where you can be very confident and secure in your expression and poignant and hold the energy there, and also, have a conversation. If you're in a conversation with someone that might be disagreeing with you or might not understand, or might be trying to maybe shut you down. So, when you can speak clearly when you can speak directly, when you can speak confidently. And there is an overarching kindness and compassion there. It's just very truthful. It's very, like I said, to the point. It can be received a lot different than if we're unsure, we feel a little self-conscious, you know, different ways that it would be easy for it to be kind of overpowered in a conversation. So I guess the encouragement that you could take away from today is to, how do you speak? If you do have these wisdom practices in your life, if you do meditate, you practice energy medicine, mindfulness, etc. I know sometimes when we have conversations with others that don't engage in those practices, it can be challenging and we can shut down. And sometimes, there's a time and a place. Sometimes we don't have to shut down, but sometimes the conversation doesn't even need to happen because maybe we're interacting with someone that isn't even bringing anything up, and he just has no interest really at all, or it doesn't come up or whatever. But when it comes up and you're met with like resistance or someone that's trying to minimize you maybe, then you can stand in your power and just be direct. That's one of my favorite things about my teachers, is that the way that they talk about these practices is very matter of fact, very matter of fact. Even Shunya with Navratri goddesses and the way she talks about the Vedas, and it's very like this is how it is. And so that has always struck me, to build that kind of confidence around the languaging to be able to express. And I'm still learning how to do that. But I'm getting better. I'm getting more confident because because of the way that I now live and the way that the practices are fully integrated into my life, ever increasingly, right? Increasingly integrated, but increased wisdom. But the integration process, I know what it's done for me, right? So it's sort of like, that's the scientific method of philosophy of the wisdom practices, is when you apply it, what happens? You begin to have greater awareness about who you are, the things that you need to, let go of, be aware of, heal through, etc., etc. So then, you do become more confident and stable within yourself. And so when you do have these conversations, they can be more direct and more confident and just more forthcoming. And so the person receiving that, you're maybe like, meeting their energy if they're a little bit heightened, but in a different way, because it's also an invitation to be curious when you're having these conversations with another person, an invitation to be curious. You're offering that. You're offering an invitation for them to be curious about what it is that has been aligning you, that has been grounding you, that has been empowering you, that has been healing you, that has been allowing you to be more balanced and experience more joy in your life. So I would say expression is, we're not at the 5th chakra yet in this process of moving through the chakras during Navratri. But 3rd chakra would be expressing with confidence, right? Expressing with, and then of course the receiving from the mother, the divine mother, knowing that, you and her are really one, right? And the non-duality relationship of all of this wisdom is that there's no separation. We tap into the qualities of the goddesses, which are the qualities within ourselves, right? But we have an external thing to focus on, and then we draw that in and we begin to regenerate those qualities within ourselves. There's no real separation, right? It's a giving and receiving all the time. It's a remembering. It's a, like, these qualities live within our energy centers, and then we're reminded through these practices like Navratri and goddess practices, right? But I think the non-dual nature, there are, you know, some people choose to see things dually, and that's okay. But eventually that stuff merges together when we realize that everything is one, everything is connected. Sometimes we need that reminder from our statue or a picture of Durga on a lion, right? And this goddess today, I can't remember her name, but she was on a lion. I mean, so Durga on a tiger, and this one was on a lion. So again, that also just exhibits the internal strength that we have that sometimes we need to tap into during different times throughout the day and throughout our lives, obviously, just to remember that we have those qualities. So meditating on the third chakra, meditating on that righteous power, and how you can surrender to that it already lives within you, so that way it can flow through you. Is there any resistance around that? Maybe breathe into that resistance with a little surrender. Namaste.